The following video contains an adult using adult language. My videos are not intended for kids. This video also contains my personal opinions and headcanons. Please remember that nothing I say will change the canon of the actual show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Previously on Family Guy.
Longtime viewers of the channel will know that I do not have a positive opinion of Twilight Sparkle for my own personal reasons. That bitch carved up my ear when I was 11? I don't know, guys. My dad was still in my life when it happened, so trauma dumps.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Chat, I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize, clarify, and fix my mistakes. I'd like to start off by apologizing to all Twilight Sparkle fans. When I was younger, I had a traumatic experience involving a Twilight Sparkle earring, and decided for years to hold a grudge against her instead of, I don't know, myself or something. But I would have never been in a position to hold this grudge if I didn't buy the Twilight Sparkle earrings, and why would I buy the Twilight Sparkle earrings? Oh yeah, that's because I used to love Twilight Sparkle, and you know what, I still do. I've started to go back and rewatch the series from episode 1, and immediately I remembered why I loved her so much in the first place. She's the socially awkward autism prime, Your Honor, and I'm in love with her, okay? She was perfect the way she was before they fucking changed her. Like, let's be so for real. If I'm gonna hate any version of Twilight, let's talk about the version of Twilight that they ruined after she became an alicorn. Her personality seemed to shift overnight. It was really fucking strange to watch. I don't know how they started mischaracterizing her so badly. I guess they just decided, oh, alicorns can't have autism. That's illegal. And then we got the most generic, heavily medicated version of Twilight that I've ever seen in my entire life. Hashtag not my princess. From the little I recall of later seasons after she became an alicorn, they started to reintroduce her old personality back into her character. Like someone in the writer's room suddenly remembered she had anxiety. Good on you, random writer. Don't know why we ever stopped giving her anxiety, but like, hey, better late than never. But just to clarify, once and for all, I, at 22 years old, of sound mind and body, love Twilight Sparkle. One real-life experience I had traumatized me a teeny bit. I took it out on the wrong person, and then it started perpetuating, and then it started Then I started perpetuating that, like, shitty little opinion online, and then suddenly I'm known as the guy who hates Twilight Sparkle. And I did, but, like, not really. I got so many comments on the original Main 6 redesign video that were basically people just going, why do you hate Twilight? Like, cool redesigns, but, like, fuck your opinions on Twilight. And I can't even be mad about those comments because, like, yeah, I was just being a hater for no reason. I mean, not no reason, but a really stupid reason, admittedly. So between the original design that I came up with not being that good, and ultimately wanting to clarify my stance on Twilight Sparkle, this video had to be made. Let's talk about the old design, why don't we? Well, I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever made. Casually side-eyes Fluttershy from across the room. I don't think what I came up with for Twilight was very good. The main pitch for the design was the hair, and the hair just had a nice color palette. Did it read Twilight? No, not really. Did it make sense with, like, her family tree or anything? No, nothing. Like, there wasn't a ton of thought put into it. I mean, there was and there wasn't. You can tell by the way I avoid talking about the designing process in that original video that I really didn't think too hard on it. But then again, I was just being petty and, like, trying to skip her on purpose. Trust me, I've already ordered the hit out on me, don't worry. I hate me too. But I'm here to redeem myself, so Twilight stans, please let me know how I did. I'm personally really happy with all the design work I did in this second pass. I decided that a key part of this that I didn't figure out beforehand was what Twilight looked like before she was an alicorn. I was able to explore that in this second pass and come up with a design that I was really happy with. In fact, it's a design that I'm so happy with that I prefer it over the alicorn design, but that's kind of how it's supposed to be. I have this weird headcanon for alicorns that when you turn into an alicorn, the magic behind it tries to, like, commercialize you. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, but it tries to make you more marketable. Like, it's literally the, no, don't turn me into a marketable plushie, no! It's literally that, but you're turned into an alicorn. No, don't turn me into a marketable alicorn, no, don't do it! Like, literally. But the, like, trick to it is that Twilight fucking hates it. So like when Cadence became an alicorn, which like, Cadence video coming soon, don't worry. But when she became an alicorn, she quite enjoyed the changes that were made. She liked the marketability of her design. This is like meta commentary. I want you guys to know this. Like, we changed Twilight to be an alicorn, to be more marketable, like the Princess of Friendship thing. Oh my god. I know it makes sense, but I'm not happy about it. I think they literally just made her an alicorn for marketing purposes. And this is commentary on that, and I will stand by that. So yeah, Twilight hates her alicorn self, but she puts up with it because she has to. Celestia says it's good for ratings, so... And, you know, ratings are always great. Whatever she needs the ratings for. I don't know, public approval, I guess? It's not like they run elections, okay? Like, this isn't a democracy. I guess it's just important for the princesses, in heavy quotation marks, because, you know, they're not all princesses. But, you know, I think it's important for them to, like, maintain a brand and be, like, professional. I don't know if that's the word I want to use. It's a united front thing. They all have to look like they're upper class so that people don't question their line of logic when it comes to decision-making in the kingdom. Basically the equivalent of blind them with something shiny and pretty so they don't notice the corruption going on in the background. Not that there's necessarily corruption in this kingdom. I haven't thought about it too much, but maybe not in the Equestria side of things. Like, maybe there's like other kingdoms that have corruption issues and they're just trying to like avoid that or something. Maybe there was like old leaders that had a lot of corruption. I don't know. I want to put more thought into this because I know people want to know more about, like, I'm not going to say this is an AU, but I know people want to know more about my redesigns and the world they live in, so I'll try and keep thinking on that and get back to you guys.
6 months later.
Gang, I don't want to even talk about it, okay? This video has been production hell. We just gotta keep pushing through it and hope this gets out eventually. So if you're hearing this right now, I've successfully pulled my head out of my ass and finally finished what I said I was going to finish months ago. Moving right along, we might as well talk about the design. I think I briefly touched on it earlier in this video, but not really in depth. There were 2 major changes that I wanted to make on this second pass. Number 1 was straightening out Twilight's hair because I don't think that she would wear curly hair. Not that her old hair was like curly, but it was like wavy TM. She's always given like
straight hair, straight A's, straightforward, straight girl.
Even though she's not straight. Like, come on, be so for real. That song is so her-coded though. And the other major thing I wanted to change about the design was the color palette / color distribution. I'm really no longer happy with how the old hair came out. It was very pretty and fun to look at, but ultimately didn't read Twilight to me. So I ended up taking out the teal and replacing it with a soft blue and taking out like the red orange thing from the yellow part and just having a yellow stripe instead. It's more in line with pre-Alicorn Twilight, and also looks a hell of a lot more like she's related to her brother, which we'll get to him eventually, don't worry. But be so for real, it's not coming anytime soon. I also made some minor adjustments to the way I colored the body to make the design a little more balanced. I think the old markings were lacking a certain amount of direction, and the new design definitely seems like it's more cohesive. I also changed up a few things like the accessories, and by accessories I mean accessory. The old crown that Twilight had didn't fit her at all and just kind of looked generic and stupid. So I gave her a new one that's more of a silver palette to like match the rest of her coat color rather than like the gold, the gaudy ass gold. It did not look good. And then this new crown has these multicolored gems that kind of represent all of her friends. I'm not gonna lie, the new crown is also gaudy as shit, but I think it's still an improvement. Also, like, it totally can be gaudy because of the whole, like, transformation, make it a more marketable thing. This is a very, collectible little girl's toy crown, you know, TM, that, like, oh, we're gonna make merch out of this. Like, I could see little kids around Equestria getting these little knockoff versions of the crown and wearing them around, like, oh my god, I'm Princess Twilight. Do you ever think about the fact that, like, the princesses are just celebrities. I mean, I already kind of mentioned that earlier in the video, but like they are just celebrities. So of course they have merch, you know. I also mentioned it earlier in the video, but I also did get a chance to go back and work on a pre-alicorn design for Twilight. I think the pre-alicorn form ultimately made me feel a lot more confident about the direction of the alicorn form. After all, we have to have something before to get to the after part of it. You'll see in the second half of this footage here when I'm doing the whole doodle page that Twilight has a much more cozy vibe, and she's also got these big chunky glasses. Does she need them? Yes. I think Twilight Sparkle is basically legally blind without her glasses, but something about the princess transformation like just made her eyesight a little bit better, or alternatively just gave her perma contacts. Either way, the glasses were deemed unmarketable, so we got rid of them. You are more than welcome to like just unicorn Twilight over my alicorn design. In fact, most of my friends do. So like if you're sitting here going, oh my god, pre-alicorn Twilight, so cute, you're not alone in that. And we all miss her very much, but it is what it is. Last time in the Fluttershy video, I had a section where I had people tell me live some of their headcanons for Fluttershy. I didn't do that this time, but I did collect a bunch of questions you guys had about my Twilight, so I'm going to answer a few of those now to fill the rest of the video up. How did Twilight initially react to their ascension? Well, I like to think that Twilight was very anxious at this moment. I don't think that she thought she was in a test, because, you know, this show kind of plays it up as, oh, it's this test of, like, her ability to fix like the friend's cutie mark thing or whatever. Like, I'm gonna be so fucking for real. I think that was more of a magic feat than it was a friendship feat, but it's been so long since I've watched any of that, so I genuinely don't know at this point. But I can tell you for certain that when Celestia showed up and like God blessed Twilight, that she was absolutely shitting her pants. I think Twilight is a little afraid of Celestia, actually. Not like in a, oh my god, she's so scary, but like an intimidating kind of afraid. Like, oh god, that's my mentor. Like, oh, what did I do wrong type of deal. And then to be blessed with, you know, marketable alicornness. I don't think she took that part well. Like, after she transformed, like, she shit herself, and then she transformed, and then she looked in the mirror and was like, oh, okay. Twilight definitely preferred her pre-alicorn form to her alicorn form, but like I said earlier, in this world, it's just a fact. Like, you gotta become more marketable, you gotta look different, and like, cooler, but not really. There's a few questions here about Twilight's relationship with her parents, and I'm just gonna say it now. Twilight's family is like a nothing burger, genuinely. Her parents aren't relevant to the show at fucking all, so I don't think about them at all. And admittedly, I barely considered them in the redesign of both Twilight and Shining Armor. So they're kind of like almost not canon, but like they have to be because, you know, obviously Twilight had to get on the planet somehow, but you know. So I guess they're estranged. I just don't see a ton of their influence on Twilight's life. She was the gifted one that Celestia took under her wing, so they didn't have to worry about her. I think they were more focused on their little boy, because Twilight already had a bright future ahead of her. There's also a few questions here that are asking about Twilight's dynamic with Spike and her brother. I am happy to inform you that they both have Twilight's full love and devotion. Spike is more like her son, rather than like a brother or a sibling to her, so I'll make that very clear. I believe in parent Twilight, and I believe she's got a good relationship with her brother that deepened even more once he got married. Because, you know, they had that, like, whole family reunion moment. I mean, I guess it wasn't full family reunion, because it was, like, Chrysalis or whatever, but, you know. Point is, they both have a good relationship with Twilight. I got another few questions here pertaining to, Flash Sentry / Twilight's crushes, and, I maintain that Twilight is actually aromantic. At least, I think so. I think there could potentially be a pony that makes Twilight reconsider at some point in time, but I don't think Twilight is actually interested in maintaining romantic relationships. Having a kid, yes, because she's got Spike, and she'd also consider having a kid for potentially political reasons, which I discussed in a different video entirely, like a next-gen subscriber special video, which, like, I think she would have a child for political reasons, you know, besides Spike. But yeah, no, I think she would, but I don't think she'd maintain a, like, she'd make a magic baby. She wouldn't, like, you know, be with anyone, TM. So I guess she's like Arrow Ace. We stand an Arrow Ace queen. Someone's out here asking the real questions of, what are her relationships with the other main six like? I think at first, She's very canon compliant. She doesn't particularly like them as people as she meets them, and slowly grows fond of them over the course of the show. Honestly, I think my Twilight has a little bit slower of a connection with them. So instead of like this show starts with like the first 2 episodes are like Twilight meeting everybody, and then everyone gets to know each other, and then they're now the elements of harmony together. I think that's a little too fast. It takes a long time to develop actual relationships with people, especially true friendships, and I think that the speed of it was just a little forced. I think she slowly gets to know everyone over time. The person she gets to know the fastest, I think, is Pinkie, just because Pinkie is trying the most actively. Like, everyone else is kind of giving Twilight her space, but Pinkie's like, no, I'm making this work, we're friends, we're friends, we're friends. And that eventually wears Twilight down, and Twilight starts to have a soft spot for Pinkie and everyone else as well. She deeply respects all of her friends and thinks very fondly of them in later seasons, and that's very much how my Twilight is as well. She just needs more time to warm up to them. But like in this same realm of like warming up to people, I like to think that Twilight, you know, the Princess of Friendship, actually has a really hard time liking people. So she has a harder time making friends, which I think is really ironic that she's the Princess of Friendship. I think, like, I headcanon that she just doesn't really like making friends. She just happens to be called the expert of it. I think it's happenstance. Like, I think if I were to make her the princess of anything, I don't know if it'd be friendship. I think if maybe I had a choice, Princess of Magic is stupid though. I don't know what I would make her, but I've never thought Princess of Friendship really fit her. Along with the questions, I also asked if you guys had any headcanons for Twilight, and I'm going to go over some of those now and canonize some of them for mine. Twilight doubts themselves a lot, but does their best to put on a brave face because they think it's needed of them. Absolutely. Like, I think Twilight definitely puts a lot of pressure on herself and often doubts her decision-making skills, even though she's really good at it. She just doesn't have a lot of self-confidence, and she also fails to develop a proper ego once becoming an Alicorn, so she still doesn't have self-confidence. It's kind of like getting your driver's license but not knowing how to drive. I don't know if that makes sense. I hella headcanon Twilight to have both a superiority complex and an inferiority complex. You know what? You're probably right. Despite not having a ton of self-confidence or so much of an ego, does think that she's better than some ponies and that other ponies are better than her. So like, she definitely looks down on her friends when she first meets them. Like, oh, I'm way better than these little town ponies. I'm from the big city, but she kind of grows out of that perspective fairly quickly. And her inferiority complex is still running strong with Celestia. How could she ever live up to those expectations of being as great as her? I don't know, man. Twilight requires glasses in order to read or see properly, but doesn't like to wear them in public after becoming a princess. Yeah, I agree with this, but also I think that something about her transformation did that to her. Like, the glasses aren't regal or presentable, but they're also, like, not needed anymore so much. Like, I don't know, magic, eye magic, there are a lot of mental health canons in here along the lines of OCD, BPD, and autism, and I agree with every flavor of those. She's mentally ill, and that's how she should be, unlike when the show fucking ruined her for a while. I'm gonna say her autistic special interest is books and also magic. Like, those are her 2 main autistic interests. And her BPD favorite person, I'm gonna say that's Celestia. It just makes the most sense. Twilight has too heavy of a dependency on Celestia for it to not be Celestia. And finally, she had her ugly bowl cut looking ass straight bangs when she was a kid and got rid of them when she grew up because it was ugly. Absolutely. I think most kids go through this phase where they're unfortunately forced to have straight, blunt cut bangs, even if it doesn't look good on them. It's just because it's convenient for the parents. And that's absolutely what happened with Twilight here. You can see in my sketch page that I gave her little blunt bangs, and then when she's a little older, she gets a nice, like, split part. It looks a lot better and frames her face a lot, like she looks like it frames her face and she looks a lot better is what I'm trying to say. Well, that just about wraps us up for the Twilight video. Thank you guys so much for your patience and understanding while I've been working on this in the background. I've been dealing with a lot of tech difficulties and life issues and all kinds of stuff that has delayed the outcome of this video, but I'm so happy to finally have it done and finally get it uploaded. As for the other MLP redesign videos, I will not at this point in time promise anything. Shining Armor is redesigned and Cadence is half redesigned, and that's kind of where I left off on those things. I will obviously be coming back to them and finishing them up when I can, but I have been very, very busy. Plus, Art Fight is next month, and I gotta prepare for that, so... A big Patreon shout out to Sticks, Starling Studio, Sage, Surprise, Tyga, Moss, and Box. Thank you all so much for supporting me, and thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye!